Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the winner bracket still, and we have our last round of 8 match. It is Fnatic versus TCM. TCM has seen a couple of changes in the lineup, and one of the more important parts here is to, of course, mention that Li Ming, yes, she is allowed, but we have Stitches globally banned currently because of a bug on his hook that can cause lag for the players. So unless Blizzard hotfixes that soon, the hero is going to be banned for the foreseeable future by most tournaments. TCM now, they have to answer a question, and the question is once again, Li Ming, yes or no? Are they going to ban her? It's always the second team that has to make that choice because they already know if they don't ban her out, Fnatic is going to lock her down right away. And they are apparently going to get rid of her. So far, we have only seen her to go through the draft once. The new patch, 16.2, I think is the number, has not hit Europe yet. It's going to hit at 2 o'clock in the morning. When this game takes place. Rega as the first pick, therefore, and Falstad as a counter of TCM. Now, Fnatic has banned out Zagara, and Zagara is great for like map vision. They could have banned Falstad, which they didn't. Falstad is a hero that is amazing on Cursed Hollow because you get very easy access to all of the tributes by Falstad, just like flying in and helping the team out after soaking extra experience on lane. You have the Mighty Gust that can help you to secure a tribute, to secure a boss, steal it maybe away from the opponent. So Falstad is incredibly strong here. Actually, it surprised me a bit that TCM waits this long to really lock the hero down. A Thrall for them also makes sense. We have Fnatic going for Muradin at this point. Muradin in these days actually played a little bit more also with Haymaker. Of course, Avatar is still a great talent, but Haymaker is an alternative that you now have on the hero. And we see Greymane taken. Now, we've seen a lot of Greymane played over the past few days, but Fnatic was one of the teams that played Greymane first and really locked him down early on. Quacknix with incredible Greymane play, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to see him again on the hero here. Good siege damage and also a great finisher. They of course need a little bit of range damage, and I suppose that we might even see a ban on a hero like Jaina right now, because Jaina has been buffed, whereas Kalthas has been nerfed a little bit. So it seems to, it stands to reason that Jaina is going to make an appearance one way or another in the draft now. We have TCM still, they could go for another they could definitely play with a single tank, having Thrall at his side, one support, and then use the Jaina as well. Fnatic maybe with a ban on her. TCM banning out Sonya. And Diablo being banned out. So apparently Fnatic not really a fan of that Thrall sundering into Apocalypse combo that we oftentimes see. Diablo overall a very aggressive hero that is of course played in a lot of wombo combo situations, can be played with a Tyrande still. But yeah, TCM for now. Let's see what they lock down. As I said, Jaina would be a very solid addition to their setup here if they want to play with a solo frontliner, which would more or less force them into a Johanna, I'd say, since we already have Muradin taken away from them. But they go for an ETC, and they can play ETC solo as well, I suppose, but then they need to have probably a Charism at his side that can really help him out. Or the Uther with a Divine Shield. Divine Shield Mosh Pit is still a powerful combo, even though most teams don't really try to force that anymore. It's incredibly difficult to hit the timing properly so that ETC can't be interrupted at all. So that's why a lot of teams have actually forsaken that combo a little bit. But they go for a Double Warrior composition. Or do they? Yeah, already toying around. That would be that Jaina. And with ETC, she would be even stronger. I mean, I already expected her to be locked down for TCM, but with ETC, it would work even better for them. You can play her with a Johanna, you can play her with an ETC, no matter what, especially if you hit that Mosh Pit right, then of course Jaina is going to be absolutely invaluable. And that's what we're currently seeing here. Now, Tassadar is still around. I want to highlight that real quickly because Fnatic could go into Rega Tassadar and maybe drop a melee assassin. We have seen a lot of Rega Tassadar Illidan combinations. At this point, I kind of feel like Fnatic is not really going to go for that particular combo, but it's always an option. If you have the Lightning Shield and then the extra shield also with Kara's Embrace on a melee assassin, you can do so much. But Sonya is banned out, and if you really wanted to go for it, then you would have to go into an Illidan, I suppose. Tassadar would work either way with their setup. Keeping Muradin alive, so they go for that, the double support. The big question really is it going to be a melee assassin, or do they just simply decide to get another backliner in there? And that seems to be the case here. Kalthas currently selected, the hero got nerfed, so he lost a bit of his stun on the Gravity Lapse and also the shield on level 16 Arcane Barrier. But Illidan, as I said, it would be definitely working out for them. I would love that. Rega Tassadar with a melee assassin is mwah. And with Illidan, it would be great. I would be a fan. Kalthas works too, both of the heroes. Different playstyles, of course. They decide to go for Kalthas here first of all. Of course, with Illidan, you always run the risk of being bursted down at some point, so that's a bit of a problem. And as expected, TCM now with that ETC at the front line, not really as tanky as a Johanna. They need a strong healer, and therefore they go for Charism. Charism is going to help ETC a lot with that. It can also supply then the Divine Palm. unless they want to go into the 7-sided strike, which I find a little bit less likely now that we have a Kalthas. With an Illidan, we might actually have seen something like this. Usually you try to go against hit point heavy heroes with a 7-sided strike, but if Illidan jumps deep into the backline, Karazhan can dash after him, use his ult, hit most of those hits against Illidan, and then just a bit more damage from the remaining heroes would usually take Illidan down. But in this case, that's not even a problem. So right now we have our setup for the first game. Super solid on both sides. Fnatic had the adjustment opportunity with an Illidan, decided to play for a bit more of a cautious setup, but still a Tassadar and Rhaegar combo that can be very powerful here on this map. TCM with very good and solid front line with ETC and Thrall. Now that Karazhan is part of the lineup, he can get those extra heals in, especially with the Circle of Life on level 16 and that burst damage on Jaina after an ETC power slide, maybe even the Mosh Pit. Thrall with the Wolf is going to be devastating. So we're going to jump into game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Fnatic versus TCM. Let's find out which team is going to take it here. Game number 1 has started, everybody. We're still at the end of the Storm Europe Finals, the round of 8 in the winner bracket, with Fnatic going up against the TCM. So the best of 3 series starting off on Cursed Hollow here. And to the left side of the map, we are seeing Fnatic breeze on Muradin. We have Quacknix, as expected, on Greymane, the Big Bad Wolf. Athero Angel on Tassadar, Smexy on Rhaegar, and Schwimpy on Kalthas. And to the right side of the map, TCM. Now the team switched actually like a lot of players around. We have Leon from Korea now on Karazhan, Nika on Jaina. We have Holocarantus on Thrall, Bashik on Falstad, and Remaballer on ETC. So you can already tell that 3 of the players that we have in their lineup now are former players of G2 Esports. So the Polish team is coming back a little bit. Napirdalai, they're fighting again. We have the boys back to business. And therefore, a few of the former players are still either involved in the organization or were let go. So it's pretty interesting to see that. TCM here definitely with a pretty nice setup in this draft now as well. So good players, a good draft. We haven't really seen this particular setup perform recently. So it's going to be cool to see how they can actually do here. Now, we have, first of all, now, of course, Falstad as one of the heroes that is going to try to just, like, fly through the map. Already a trap set up, by the way, up at the top. Falstad, on the other hand, he's currently at the bot lane, and it looks like Thrall is the one who's trying to take over the experience up at the top. Thrall, by the way, did you see the route on the minimap that Holo took? He went all the way to the right and made sure that he did not just take the shortest path between the middle and the top lane. Seems very insignificant, but since there was already a trap set with 3 heroes here, that saved his life and made sure that they did not get killed yet. Remaballer sliding right into the middle of 3, apparently couldn't make that decision here. Was a good move though from Fnatic, just immediately rushing away. Level 1 talent on, again, Quacknix is of course the perfect aim. We're seeing for Rhaegar also very important, the electric charge taken. Both of the talents very important and very often taken, electric charge and also the lightning bond. It's very much a it's a matter of like playstyle. It's also of course important to see which map you play. For example, when you play on Towers of Doom, sorry, not Towers of Doom, but Infernal Shrines, it's much more likely that you see electric charge because you get so much siege damage out of it when you are on those temples or on those shrines and try to take the minions down. But overall, it's actually kind of fun to see that we have a lot of like different viable talents for Rhaegar and in terms of his build. At this point now also, when we're talking builds, we're having again for Kalthas, the Mana Addict taken. Now Kalthas has been changed a bit. Yeah, one of the talents that we just saw in action, but not really connect, was of course that Gravity Lapse, and the former cooldown, or the former stun duration was 1.5 seconds. Now it's actually only 1 second, so it got reduced a bit in one of the recent patches. And Blizzard also adjusted the Arcane Barrier slightly, so now Arcane Barrier does not do the 200% extra shield, it's 150%, so 25% less than before. And overall, actually, like, a pretty significant nerf to Kalthas without really touching his strength too much. And that's one of those things that now suddenly put Jaina a little bit ahead of Kalthas, especially since she got also some buffs. And in this case, we have Jaina now running with the Frost Shards on level 4. And already the rotation hitting again at the mid lane. Athero playing it safe. We're seeing the Stormcaller again taken, the Draft Overflow, full, like, Thunderclap build on Muradin. And now 2 towers eliminated at the bot lane, and also the gate. Quacknix making sure that they have the vision here, and direct access also to the well if they want to poke that down. But more importantly, we're seeing, of course, the tribute now on the map. And Rhaegar is starting to move down, but we have Karazhan already in action here, so no healer at this point for Fnatic. And a slight lead for them maybe, but yeah, there comes Leo once again, but already Athero making sure that he gets the quick and fast storm in. The double support setup for them should give them sustain in these fights that they need. Athero with the shields and then also the lightning shield here for Rhaegar. It's exactly that setup that would have made it possible for them to go into Illidan, and they have looked at Illidan quite a couple of times during that draft, decided to go for Kalthas instead. And Kalthas, of course, also a very, very nice option here. A bit of a safer option and not quite as aggressive as the potential Illidan would have been. Now we have Athero, still waiting for another shield that, of course, also for another storm that he can use to interrupt. They have still in the mid lane, Greymane poking in and out every now and then to get extra experience for the team. And you can really tell how Fnatic is suddenly starting to get farther and farther ahead in the XP and closer to level 7, which would give them the extra talent. That's what they currently wait for. And this is also the reason why we now have the red team just simply moving away. They realize that in another wave there's going to be level 7 available for Fnatic, and they just don't want to end up being forced into a battle that they can't win, because the opponent does not only have a stat advantage but also their extra talent. And that talent is incredibly powerful, of course. Not only do we see the Fission Bomb, but the Piercing Bolt in itself, of course, a big deal. The Elixir talent taken on level 7 for Greymane too, and not even talking about Cleanse and Color's Embrace. So these talents on the board, there was just like no way for TCM to take that fight, and they decided to just move back for a little bit and give the first tribute out. They're slightly behind now. It's half a level, but that can actually mean that it can be all the difference between like death or victory. For now we have also the Ice Lance, to be expected. Like if you have Frost Shards taken on level 4, then Ice Lance is cooldown reduction on level 7 is mostly what we see as the follow-up for that. Besides that, ETC went now straight in again into the Just Keep Rockin', but they're trying to set up a bit of a trap here against Shrimpy, but he's of course now super safe here, still on his Billy mount. I highly doubt that he's even going to leave the mount. He's probably not going to even do that. He's already trying to stay as far to the bottom as he possibly can. Bashik is still there, and now Bashik can really start to fly in whenever he needs to. Fight in the mid lane has already started now as well, and well, we have Rema Baller in position here. Always, of course, attempting to slide in. He's the only frontliner next to Thrall. That's going to put a lot of pressure on him. That's why Karazim is always going to be close to him to make sure that he can get the heals in, and later on then also the potential Divine Palm, because it's not going to be easy for Rema Baller. If he gets bursted away, then the rest of the team is in trouble. If you lose your front line, can't do anything there. But if he sets that one mosh pit, of course, in, that would be great for them. And there's not too many interrupts on the opponent. There's 2 right now. There's Kalthas and there's also Muradin. Quagnix at the same time now. Oh, yeah, taking a lot of damage here from Leo. But here comes Shrimpy, and they try to go for him. Where is that dash to Bashik? There it is. Thrall is channeling already the tribute, but Smexy is there and immediately starts to like take a few of the hit points of Thrall away. But Orc versus Orc fights, they are usually pretty nasty, and Holo is fighting back for sure. That tribute is still there, but again the same situation. The earlier level 10, an earlier talent lead, and as long as they can just like buy a little bit of time, they will have level 10. And that's why Rhaegar went to the top, trying to just like take a few of these minions away. Rema Baller has take care of it, and again TCM moves away. They move away right now. Athero and Smexy are still there, just like zoning a little bit, but they have the heroic ability now, and that means Avatar. We have at the same time Go for the Throw, Tacita with a Force Wall, Ancestral Healing has been taken. And besides that, we of course, well, that's actually a good question, Kalthas. Kalthas has seen a change to his Pyroblast as well. Pyroblast was already used before the change by a few teams in a few isolated incidences. But now Kalthas' Pyroblast does a lot more damage, but the cooldown got doubled. So you have a 100-second cooldown on Pyroblast, but it's incredibly powerful right now to burst someone like, for example, Jaina down. The big problem with it is that Jaina, if she takes Ice Block on level 13, can just like dodge that damage completely. So this is a big, big plus for Ice Block. But of course, it's a question of what does Kalthas really do here. And so far, he's actually waiting. I mean, you can really drop that Phoenix later, and with a quick pick on the talent, with a key combination, you can do that even in the fight. So Shrimpy is most likely going to do exactly that, trying to adjust to the situation and see what exactly he needs there. Other heroes that they could try and lock down with that is, of course, also then Falstad, who does not really have the most hit points. So if you get some good damage in and then you simply use that Pyroblast as well, you can burst Falstad away too. So we're going to find out what exactly Shrimpy takes here. Again, we have Breeze already waiting for the tribute. It could be a curse tribute, by the way. So this is really one of those moments when TCM has to try and move in to really claim it, or they accept the curse, which would be rather devastating. Kalthas is down, though, at the bot lane. He was attacked, but it means curse. So they trade a kill for the curse. They are okay with that, apparently. They know that they can't really move in for this one. It's actually interesting to see that. At this point, it is starting to get a bit nasty for them. Up to the top lane, we currently have also now a situation in which those siege giants are starting to go straight through the fort. Barshek is alone. Smexy can easily zone him right now as long as they know where the rest of the team is. And now with the vision in the mid lane, thanks to Aethera Angel, they should know that he can actually go pretty deep for this one. Doesn't protect them though. Plays it cautiously because he doesn't apparently really know where Khaldor is on his thrall. At the bot lane, the pressure with Breeze and Quarknix. No attempt for a boss, by the way, by Fnatic. They had still Khaldor's down. They're now waiting for him to come in. Still no level 10 talent taken for him. Might also wait for the level 13 here, for Jaina even. Force her into the ice block. A lot of Jaina players have been starting to take Icy Veins on the European server. And if you wait until level 13, then you can just simply... Like, Shrimpy can't use his level 13 yet either. You can really tell that he wants to wait for Jaina. Here comes the Pyroblast, though. Interesting that he takes it now. Like, he wants, of course, to have his chain bombs. Like, no doubt about that. He goes for the chain bombs. He takes the Pyroblast. But if we had that level 13 a little bit faster, he would have forced Jaina to go straight into the ice block, which she will use now too. But he could have made an adjustment, of course. So in this case, it's definitely going to be ice block on her. But if you, of course, for example, plan to go for Phoenix, he can delay the level 10 long enough to force Jaina into an ice block instead of the Icy Veins. In this case now, though, Jaina would be absolutely suicidal if she doesn't go for ice block. It's one of the best talents to dodge damage on Pyroblast. We've seen similar things with Malfurion, for example, on level 7, oftentimes just waiting for his cleanse to take back in the days when Judgment was most times picked by Tyrael, or Sanctification, so he would always like see if you really need that cleanse or not. Happens sometimes. In this case, there was not really enough worth it to wait this long. But yeah, there's the improved ice block. Still a very popular talent in Europe, but we have seen a lot of Icy Veins recently. Giant Killer now also taken, and the Showstopper on 13 as well. But with the Pyroblast here, this is of course going to be that incredible damage that we are going to see. And it's going to be quite interesting how exactly that's going to work out for them. Again, cooldown reduction taken. And we have On the Prowl. Mentioning it here also because a lot of the Greymane players that we've seen already earlier today and on the first day of the End of the Storm Europe finals, we have seen Unfettered Assault, for example. Like, we've seen so many different talents on level 13 for Greymane, but Quarknix still preferring that speed build here. The boss at the top lane is being attacked now, but Aethera Angel has already the vision on it, and they start to go in. It's going to be a fight on 13 talents, and here comes the attack, but keep in mind, we could still see Remaballer with that mosh pit. Thrall has the Sundering ready, not going for it yet. Breeze jumping out, but of course the boss has been leashed, and that's all that Fnatic wanted to do for now. Making sure that the opponent does not get the boss. Aethera Angel is there. Breeze is starting to move away with that silly surfboard, by the way. Like, what? Breeze, seriously. Once again, here comes that Sundering. Well, that didn't really do too much. Helped them a little bit, zoned them out, I suppose. Holo is, of course, poking from a distance with the chain lightning, but they are taking a lot of damage. Khaldor's always threatening that Pyroblast, not using it yet. Here comes Remaballer once again. Breeze jumps out and the fort has been taken. And they are very, very close to level 16 now. So with level 16 talent, that would be great for them. Khaldor's, by the way, with 11,000 damage so far. 19,000 for the Worgen. So once again, we are seeing a Greymane with a huge damage output. Not even talking about his siege damage right now. He's at 81,000, which of course is absolutely incredible. And they go for boss. Tassadar is still up at the top, very much alone. Is starting to go straight for the tribute, but we have an entire setup moving down to the bottom. They have to abandon this one. Breeze is trying to stay closer to the boss a little bit. The attempt for the steal, they're not just simply trying to take it, simply trying to force them away. They are trying to claim it now. Tassadar is starting to move in. Breeze is on the point. Oh, the mighty gust failed by Barshek. Here comes a nice Pyroblast. A lot of damage there. Breeze gets healed by the Ancestral Healing. Thrall is dead. Tassadar is there. Nice mosh pit, but the boss has already been claimed. ETC is not in range. Barshek is about to fall, but so does Greymane. Fawcett is down and Remaballer dies now as well. Great move again by Fnatic. Amazing play here. Like, first of all, they go for the boss with 4. They're attacked by 5, and then that fail on Fawcett. Barshek, unfortunately, not in the spot where he could really use the Mighty Gust. Nika is now falling any moment as well. Has no chance there. Great Pyroblast also from Khaldor from the other side of the wall. It was not only the main target that he started to dish a lot of damage out, it was also the surrounding heroes that really took the full blunt of that Pyroblast. And then it was just like kill after kill that they got. Of course, the Worgen going deep for the damage. in the end falling as well, but that was a great move. They are able to secure the boss after all. Breeze was like standing on point the entire time, got healed then with the Ancestral as well. Very well played, and now they have an easy time taking down the first keep of the game. They have the level 16 talents now, of course, too, and in this case it is the Stone form. We have also the extra explosion on the Elixir, and we're seeing the level 16 talent. After Stormcaller on level 4, the Rising Storm, Electric Charge on 1, the Arcane Barrier still taken as the 16 talent, Stone form and the Concentrated Blast. So Fnatic playing strong here, with Quacknix also securing another tribute for the team now, and they are one tribute away from again cursing their opponents. And well, it's of course like a bit of a concern here currently for TCM. They are getting their 16 talents in time. They can now fight with the Circle of Life, which is a great talent for Charism to keep the front line alive, especially for ETC. Is going to be a super important talent. Numbing Blast taken for Jaina, and we're seeing on this side of Falstad again Hammer time. They try to go for boss, but there's already a Thero Angel, and he's spotting that. He's there, and he will move in with the rest of the team. Breeze is already going for the stun. Can jump out, or can he? He can, barely. Once again the Sun Ring trying to lock him down, but better safe than sorry. The Ancestral healing is ready. Rhaegar is keeping him alive. A Thero Angel now also healed. He was very close to dying as well, or dropping hit points super fast. A lot of the rogue abilities out. Palm is still ready, and so is the Mosh Pit. But the Pyroblast, of course, a constant threat against low hit point heroes. And with the boss at the top lane, now currently abandoned from both teams, we have another tribute on the map, and this is one that could again curse the team in red. Netherwind forces Bashek back, but the rest is starting to move in now too. Breeze is there. Here comes that Storm. They're trying to go for the poke again. Tassadar on his way back down, and here comes again that Hammer, but the opportunity maybe to go for a kill. Tassadar still zoned out to the top, so he can't really join the rest of his team. A wedge driven between the heroes of Fnatic. Thero Angel is starting to move in with them now. 5 versus 5 now. And Quacknix still trying to poke a bit from a distance. Always throwing that Elixir and always throwing that cocktail in. Quacknix has to be careful here. He's not going in yet. Where's the heal? No Ancestral healing, but the shields are good. And once more we see Smaxy with a chain heal, making sure that Quacknix is not dropped yet. The palm not triggered. Holo needs to be careful. And well, goodbye Thrall. That thing is going to hit home eventually. And boom. Down goes the melee SS and Pyroblast time. The rest is moving away, and this is going to be the curse against the TCM team. Well played here. Even the attempt to go for Rammer Baller now down here already dropped off the mount, and they go for the cow. They try to lock down Charism instead. Relentless saves him for a moment, but here comes that wall, and goodbye ETC. The cow is down, and that is beef for dinner, and also Core potentially 2 heroes dead. And of course, the curse against the team in red, and this means that all of the waves are pushing in. The keeps are falling at the top already, but they are trying to go for the core. Kill against Jaina is more or less securing that already. Leo dashing away, barely surviving this. Another mighty gas, but the core is down to 50% at this point, and they can just simply finish the job. Great play by Fnatic here in game number 1 against TCM, and they take the game, they take the lead here at the end of the Storm winner bracket round of 8, and we're going to head into game number 2 in just a moment. Game number 2 in the series here now at the end of the Storm European Finals has started, and the respect ban apparently. TCM is looking at a Greymane ban. They are absolutely fed up with Quacknix and the damage output. You could really tell in the last game that he was one of the main heroes that really gave TCM trouble, but it looks like they're switching it over to Thrall. I mean, either one of these heroes would be a great first ban. You could ban out a Falstad as a Zagara as well. It's really a matter of preference of what you don't want to deal with. Of course, for Fnatic, it's most likely going to be that ban on Li Ming again. Infernal Shrines is our second map. I haven't seen it today. It is actually Thrall that is being banned out here, so Fnatic is definitely going to try and get that grab on Greymane. They love the hero, and Quacknix has nearly 100% win ratio in competitive matches so far on him, as far as I know. We have Fnatic now again with the ban on Li Ming. Not really a big surprise. Keep in mind these games are played on the 16.1 patch, not the 16.2 patch, where we actually have the Li Ming changes in play. Rhaegar as the first pick, not a surprise, and I would expect Greymane to be picked by Fnatic now early on once again, especially after that last game. If they don't do that, then it's very likely that TCM is going to ban Greymane out, or they are at least going to pick them for themselves. Jelum, thank you very much for the sub. Cheers for the support, bro. Tassadar already locked down, and Greymane is in play. So they use Greymane once more. Tassadar, of course, serves two purposes now. First of all, Fnatic is in a position where they lock Tassadar down for themselves. It helps them to make a potential like double support play happening with like a Tyrande, with even a Brightwing. We've seen it with a Karazhan too. But you can also play that Tassadar solo, especially, of course, if you go into like frontliners like Johanna, Muradin, or maybe even ETC. And it makes sure that TCM can't go into Rhaegar plus Tassadar, which is amazing for frontliners. TCM going into area of effect damage first with Leoric, and they have that Jaina. Jaina, of course, a really high priority pick these days because of that extra damage that Blizzard blessed her with, whereas Kel'Thas got nerfed a little bit, but it's still very strong as we could see in the last game, but it's not really too surprising to see a Jaina. Infernal Shrines is usually all about the area of effect damage. You really want to make sure that you have a lot of AoE on your setup so that you can really get those minions on the shrine fights. And Greymane is one of the heroes that definitely caters towards that as well. So that's one of the things that we are going to see with the, again, the cocktail build, of course. But TCM apparently not quite sure about that chain. Oh, a switch to Kel'Thas. Flamestrike, of course, works as well. And they actually go for it. They go for Kel'Thas over a Jaina. It's an interesting choice. In the last few days, we have seen a very like big priority on Jaina over Kel'Thas. But apparently they want to give that Pyroblast a shot. At least we can hope. And Fnatic has now an opportunity to go into a Jaina themselves if they really would want to. So it's an interesting choice here. There's, of course, also now a ban that is available to them, and, well, they go for a ban on Muradin. So they start to limit, really, that pool of heroes at the front line that TCM can pick from. They have a Leoric, but Leoric usually doesn't really end up in a solo support, solo tank situation, at least not on the European server. In North America, we see solo Leoric a little bit more often, but in this case, it's actually quite likely that we're going to see Fnatic maybe like with something like they could go into, I suppose, maybe a Sonya. I'm actually a bit surprised that they ban out Muradin. I would say like Muradin and Sonya would be a great choice for them right now. But they go for a switch, start to think about Zagara, which is a great pick. It's actually like kind of cool to see that Zagara is not an immediate first pick anymore, that we have so many heroes now that are viable at this point, because for a long time Zagara was just an instant ban or instant pick here, but the meta is shaking up a little bit, so that is actually like pretty cool. We have Jaina. Okay, the ban on Jaina makes actually sense. Falsa would make sense too, like both of these heroes are incredibly strong. One more viable with the burst damage, the other one more of an auto attacker. If you talk AoE, then of course Jaina is a bit stronger on Infernal Shrines, but you have that mobility on Falsa that is pretty cool as well. So Fnatic now, they can make that choice that I already said, like Muradin, Sonya would be really great for them if they want to go for it. Muradin, that would already be half of what we kind of predicted here, that Sonya would also capitalize on Tassadar. You have that Whirlwind going into the shrine fights as well. It's a very heavy front line that can pressure an opponent, and with Leeching Plasma, Sonya has also like a bit of extra sustain. Ferocious healing helps. Muradin is usually keeping himself alive quite nicely, and if he has the additional shield, that of course works then too. Greymane already the damage in the back line, and then Fnatic could try and react to what TCM is doing with their last pick here. They start to switch over into an ETC. I mean, of course, the problem that Muradin has is that Leoric still has that drain, but he can always jump out of it. So ETC for Breeze over Muradin is a very interesting choice. It takes a little bit of that frontline power away. I'm very curious to see what is going to be the second frontline. I highly doubt that they're going to play ETC solo. They could still go into that Sonya. One of the advantages of a Muradin is that you have that stun a little bit like more on point, and there is that Sonya. So instead of that Muradin Sonya that we expected, and which, oh, that would work too. I mean, both of them work. I actually thought it would be Muradin and Sonya. ETC Sonya works as well, of course, and that's what they're currently doing here. ETC Sonya instead of Muradin Sonya, allowing TCM to lock down Sonya if they want to. Johanna is still very good here, but keep in mind that there were a couple of changes. Nightic spawn does not affect the minions on the shrines anymore. It's still an incredibly strong talent, and it's still, of course, like that condemned damage that you can put to the table. But you are not forced into Nightic spawn anymore on this map here in particular. The wave clear of condemn alone is already incredibly strong, so Nightic spawn as a talent does not affect those minions. Diablo taken, Diablo Leoric. The cool thing about Diablo Leoric is really Entomb into Apocalypse, and that can be very, very nasty. If they really go for that, then I'm a bit surprised, though, that they did not go for Jaina. Because if you go Diablo Leoric and you really try to play with Entomb, then having that Blizzard is much, much better than using Kel'Thas with a Flame Strike. And it doesn't matter if you go for Pyroblast or if you go for Phoenix. So that's a little bit surprising to me. considering that we have a lot of the Polish players that formerly played for G2 playing on TCM now, Sylvanas would be a hero that I would not be surprised about because they always love to play Sylvanas, but as we mentioned before, Falstad is great too. But that Kalthas over Jaina is now confusing me a little bit, I have to admit, since Diablo Leoric works much better if you have a Jaina in your setup than with a Kalthas. Not that Kalthas can't really add any damage. I mean, it's all about like locking a target down with that Entomb, with maybe the Apocalypse behind it, and then putting the damage in. But Jaina for burst damage in that setup is just a little bit stronger. So it's kind of surprising to me that TCM decided to go Kalthas over Jaina with that setup. They decided to go for the auto attack damage. It's definitely a great choice here. Fnatic, they can use some damage in the backline now as well. There's a couple of choices for them still. They could go into a Vala, for example, now too. I highly doubt that we're going to see like another melee assassin or anything. Sonya the Bruiser is already great, and ETC at the front line is also strong. But right now, I have to really think a little bit about what exactly they can play. If they want to play really heavy front line, okay, Bambi would be nice. Lunara would be nice. If they wanted to play super heavy front line, they could go into Ethereal for Sanctification here. We have seen Virtus.pro with a similar approach earlier already today, but of course the more standard version is still to add another like range damage dealer, and Lunara is pretty awesome. We've seen her taking the top damage slot like several times. Na'Vi loves to play her right now. We haven't seen her today yet, but this is a very solid setup here for Fnatic. For TCM as well, that Kalthas, I'm still curious to see how exactly it's going to work out for them with Kalthas. If they want to go for that Diablo Leoric combo, Jaina would have been a bit better, as I already said earlier. Maybe they were a bit afraid to go up against Kalthas again. Either way, the decision has been made, of course, a bit earlier, when we're going to jump straight into game number 2 here on Infernal Shrines to find out which team is going to take the win, and if Fnatic can secure that 2-0 victory. Game number 2, everybody, has been started. Fnatic is in the lead in the best of 3 series here at the round of 8 of the End of the Storm Europe Finals Season 4. To the left side of the map, we currently have Breeze on ETC for Fnatic, Aethera Angel on Sonya, Quacknix playing Greymane, Smexy on Tassadar, and Schwimpy on Lunara for that extra damage. To the right side of the map, Leo from Poland on Rhaegar. We have Holo on Leoric, Nika on Falstad, Bashik on... Nika actually on Kalthas. Bashik is playing Falstad, and Remabola is on Diablo. Very solid setups for both of the teams. Lot of damage coming, especially from Fnatic running Greymane and Lunara here. Both of these heroes have the tendency to end up all the way up at the top when it comes to the hero damage. And yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game in my opinion. I mean, at this point we are currently looking at especially Fnatic with a lot of potential damage. The AoE that they have is also quite nice, so that will help them to go for these shrine fights. And at the same time, we have the choices with Diablo and Leoric at the front line that can really do a lot if you go for that Entomb with the combo. I highly expect that it's Entomb that we are going to see right now. But let's find out how exactly this game goes. Of course, with Fnatic being in the lead, if they take it here now as well, they would go up against Team Liquid in the next round of the tournament. We're having the Space Lord Leoric skin already taken. Amazing skin. Feels a little bit wrong that he's pulling a Siegfried on Roy and is currently riding that Tiger there. But besides that, we have him in all his might with a white and purple skin right now. Bambi, played by Schwimpy. I mean, she is going on level 1 here into the natural perspective. We have seen an abundance of level 1 talents taken from all kinds of players. I mean, if you look at My Insanity, for example, they really like to play with that extra damage against the minions right now and have a bit more wave play on the hero, and especially like mana back, which is always kind of cool. Besides that, in talents, we have on level 1 Soul Feast once again. We are seeing Electric Charge taken by Rhaegar, not the Lightning Bond. Players are just like bouncing around between both of the talents. In this case right now, I have to admit that I personally believe that Lightning Bond is a bit stronger on this map, since you can get the double shield, and if you have 2 front lines, if Rhaegar is doing his job well, then you should be able to go with the shield straight for those shrines and get more damage in over there. But of course, if Leoric wants to go into the backline deep, then having the radius increase is kind of nice. Lightning Bond is pretty cool. It depends a bit on what your personal preference is. Na'Vi, for example, is playing like in most cases with Lightning Bond these days, but especially on an Infernal Shrine, you get a lot from Lightning Bond. So that Electric Charge is a bit of a surprise. It's not that huge of a difference here though, but the siege damage output is definitely better with the alternative talent. That being said, the teams are aiming straight for the first few minions, but an earlier level 4 talent forces Fnatic now back from the shrine. There it is. Fire Devil has been taken on level 4 now. We're seeing also now Nether Blast, of course, for Kalthas. Hardened Bones for Leoric, alright, and we are seeing more and more Elixir and Cocktail talents now taken. No Proc Rock, by the way, for ETC. Oftentimes ETC, when played with a Tassadar, is at least going for groupies. I suppose that's what we're going to see here today. Proc Rock could have been an alternative talent if you really want to get that out. Nimble Wisp on level 4. for Shrimpy on his Lunara. And teams again trying to look for an opportunity to get that early kill, but still 2 heroes in the middle of the map. Falstad is in the middle, and down to the bottom we have still Greymane trying to make sure that he gets the extra EXP here for his team. No team willing to give up lane experience, so it's a 4 versus 4 at the top lane that we're currently witnessing here. And a slight lead already for TCM. They have a lot of AoE here with a Fire Devil, with also Holo and the Skeleton Swing that he can use. So there's absolutely no problem for them. Lightning Shield, of course, another big tool that can be utilized here to get the first Punisher. And now it has to be baited in. Again, always keep behind the gate. Big tip if you're a little bit newer to Heroes of the Storm, if that Punisher approaches, stay behind the gate. He's going to jump in, and then he's going to be attacked by 4 towers if you include the 4 tier as well. And you can easily defend against him. The only thing that TCM is getting from the first Punisher is a tower and the gate. So it's much worse if you try to leave the gate and you try to stop that Punisher early. Suddenly makes only a little hop to the front, and you are going to lose much more than that. So big advice for newer players amongst you, always place your heroes behind the gate and make that Punisher jump deep in. Level 7 is going to be the next important talent, of course, for the 2 teams. And on level 7 we're also going to see a couple of choices that are going to be important. And especially in this case right now, Rhaegar has to think about getting either Cleanse or going for Blood and Thunder for the cooldown reduction. Cleanse can be kind of nice against ETC, of course, especially with that Mosh Pit being around then later potentially. But having that cooldown reduction is pretty cool too. He decides to go straight into the Cleanse on the other hand now though. And we have the Ghastly Reach taken for the Oryx, so no Paralyzing Rage for the hero now. Doesn't need that slow against the potentially three melee heroes, depending on what form, of course, Greymane is currently in. Paralyzing Rage has been actually taken a lot, but if you go for the Ghastly Reach and the increased range on your Skeleton Swing, then you can get more minions hit in one of those Shrine scenarios, and that's of course what they're currently really banking their hopes on. They want to make sure that they have an opportunity to really take these Punishers. And Soul Steel taken as well on level 7. Now Diablo already realizing that currently with Leoric, he might have somebody to his side that is not a massive peeler, that is not in a position where he can really help him out too much with the stun or anything like that. He wants to have the extra survivability, so Diablo not going for that battle momentum that we oftentimes see on the hero, but instead deciding to go with Soul Steel, which is going to allow him to just like stay in those fights a bit longer. Wild Vigor has been taken. Pretty standard actually. Oh, and the potential kill against Quadnix. Oh, Netherwind, and the slam. Goodbye Worgen explodes thanks to the Fission Bomb here. Just as we have another Shrine appear on the map, and well, TCM, they're not even done with that. They're starting to go straight for tower number 1 and start to aim for the second 1+ gate. Here comes the move against EDC, but Breeze moves away. Maybe a bit too deep for Remaballer. Shrimpy is there, gets the damage in now with his Lunara. We already see the Shrine, the first few minions taken, and we have Greymane back to business. So he is back in the game. Level 10 on the other hand is going to hit very, very soon now for TCM. They've done an exceptional job soaking lanes, and now are very close and a level ahead over Fnatic, so that is a bit of a problem right now for Fnatic. Too many structures were taken down by TCM, and here comes the heroic ability for them. As expected, it is Entomb, Phoenix taken over the Pyroblast, and we have Ancestral Healing plus Mighty Gust and Apocalypse. So I still want to highlight once again that an adjustment that TCM made is they decided to go Kel'Thas over Jaina and ban Jaina out later. The combo that they have with Entomb caters more towards a Blizzard and a Jaina, so it's an interesting choice for them to go for the Pyroblast, but apparently they just value the chain bombs highly enough to say, okay, we can keep Kel'Thas safe. That nerf to his, well, not only Gravity Lapse, but most of all to the Arcane Barrier is not really too much of a problem for us. We want to have those chain bombs and make sure that we get that. So of course, especially great if they get the Entomb against more than one hero. Like if they get like a triple Entomb, for example, and then you just like drop in one of those chain bombs, that is of course like Kel'Thas heaven right there. I mean, some men just want to see the world burn, and Khaldor is starting to do exactly that. Phoenix in play already, and with this, both of the teams now. Here comes immediately that Entomb. The Punisher jumps in for the party time, and Smexy is taken down. Wow, like that was bad luck for Tacita. Apparently Punishers hate Protoss too. I mean, let's be honest, don't we all? In this case, we're actually seeing the Punisher. The Punisher sees the Entomb and he's like, oh boy, Entomb, awesome, let's jump in. And he jumps in and wrecks Tacita completely. So it couldn't have gone any better. I mean, the follow-up wasn't really there for TCM, if not there for the Punisher. Tacita would have survived without any problem whatsoever. So the Punisher definitely like the best man currently on the TCM lineup. We currently have them with 17 stacks, by the way, on the side of Falstad. Talking about Diablo, he's at this point, of course, at 100 souls. This is a no-brainer. Mighty Gust here already. Nika low though. Nika very low. So is Smexy. Here comes Schwimpy again with the Thornwood Vines, but cannot take Nika down. So Kalthas gets away for now. Well, Siegfried and Roy are riding in again on that Tiger. Holo is rushing in with that. Could have at least gone for a different tint here. Holo, really. Top lane, again, soaked by Sonya in this case. And down to the bottom of the map, we have now also, well, first of all, Cognix and Breeze trying to go for the wave clear. Schwimpy always just like hopping around in the back, trying to get a couple of hits in. And I mean, Lunara is going to stack up that damage thanks to the AoE damage that she has. Cam's taken in this game so far mostly. Oh, again the attempt from Falstad to fly in and use that Mighty Gust. ETC, so far not going for the mosh pit. He could though, but doesn't really want to risk it. Bashek actually very, very low. Thornwood Vines as a follow-up did not hit because that barrel roll was too fast. But Schwimpy was very close to taking Falstad down. And now we have an early level 13 any second now for TCM, which is going to give them a huge advantage going for the shrine up at the top. A bit of experience is still there. Ethero can take down the wave, but overall it's very doubtful that they're going to hit level 13 in time to really contest the early stage. We're seeing cooldown reduction here with the tidal waves, the chain bombs are in play. Crushing Hope now taken, Giant Killer and Firestorm, and already TCM on the shrine. And it looks very much like we're not even going to see an attempt by them to go for it. Bashek down here, once again slowed down already by Lunara, but a Mighty Gust is bringing him to safety. Well, or at least I thought so. And then I saw Breeze, and well, that's not going to happen. You are not going to fly away, dude. That's definitely not going to be the case. Not with Breeze around. So they get the kill, and they try to trade fort for a fort. They don't even go for the shrine. They just say like, alright, we got Falstad. Let's make sure that we also get the fort at the bot lane. They can take the Punisher and trade for the top fort. We're completely fine with that. So pretty sweet move here actually by Fnatic, working out in their favor since Falstad dies. Now there's the prog rock, the groupies that we expected after Just Keep Rockin'. Once again on the prowl, definitely the talent that especially Quacknix of course prefers. Spell Shield taken, Prescience once again, and Lunara, is she going for the unfair advantage or will we see the greater Spell Shield for her? The two talents that are mostly contested on the hero here. Once again level 14. I mean, Greater Spell Shield would work against Kalthas, of course. That would definitely give you something. But if you want to go for the full damage and having... Oh, the unfair advantage would be great. Schwimpy! That Punisher really hates Fnatic. Jumping in deep for the kill here. Taking them down and the fort already eliminated. But it looks like that trade in the end did not work out in Fnatic's favor after all. Because, well, they are getting... Again, the Punisher jumping into the Entomb. Punishers really love Entombs, don't they? So they try to go for the key, but now TCM has to move back. Quacknix is on the move. They're trying to go for Holo, but they can't lock him down. Of course, they're only 4, so they need to be a little bit careful here. Checking the talents once again, we have now Greater Spell, Greater Spell Shield has been taken, so better safe than sorry. Dead Lunara can't dish out damage, yeah? Dead Lunara can't deal damage, and therefore they went for the safe option. Breeze blasted away. He was just thinking about that mosh pit, wasn't he? Schwimpy again with a poke from a distance. I mean, talking damage a little bit in poke in particular. Lunara at 18,000 damage, second highest damage dealer in the game. We have 20,000 on Quacknix with his Greymane, so he's still taking the crown there. But overall, TCM is giving Fnatic a bit of a run for their money here in this game. I mean, that's already certain. So the last game, that was definitely Fnatic's show. They have done an incredible job there. But right now, we're looking at a very, very solid move on the side of TCM as well. They want to go into the third game. They want to force the third map in the best of 3 series. It's 3 kills against 1. Again, the Entomb against Quacknix, and goodbye Greymane. Well, he tried to go for the camp, and he was taken apart. So, well, TCM is doing a pretty good job kicking the dog here. Just like kicking him back the entire time. Rhaegar was a bit jealous because he said, I'm top dog in the game, my friend, not you. And so far he's getting his wish granted. Greymane getting obliterated over and over again. Dying 2 times here in the game, it's not really too bad. Lunara taking over at the top damage though. But level 16 talents on the side of TCM give us also, of course, now Rising Storm. We have Renewed Swing taken. Great synergy with especially like the greater... the Ghastly Reach, the greater range for the hero. Imposing Presence and Hammer Time. And TCM is really making some solid work here. So Fnatic is trying to go for the top lane again. Whoa, are they really going to dive that deep or are they waiting for a rotation? That would be... Nah, they're not going to dive that deep. Not behind the gate in 2 towers. That would be suicidal. But it's, you can see, they can't go for the Shrine. They don't have the level 16 talent, so they are like way weaker. They cannot go for it at this point. So it's going to be another Punisher for TCM. TCM is just dominating the Punishers here. They have the AoE, they have all that they need, and Fnatic is just not getting away with like fighting without the extra talent. They have that problem and had it throughout the entire game, but finally they have an opportunity to maybe start something here. It's already 26 minions on the side of the team in red on the other hand, so that is a problem. But we have now for Sonya Spell Shield, by the way, and Nerfso Steel. Super passive move here on her part. And again, the Starwood Spear taken for Lunara. Speed Metal too. This is the chance that Fnatic has. They have to win a fight at some point, and this might as well be the one. Shrimpy dancing in on his Lunara, hopping to victory maybe. Yeah, already the Thornwood Mines. Ethereal going deep for Nika. Here comes the Mighty Gust, pushing them away. Holo has to move back too. Great move by Fnatic. They finally start to do a lot of damage, but they lose the Punisher again. There's just too much poke on the side of TCM. They are poking in. They have the AoE. There's the Flame Strike, that Spell Shield, of course. Diablo dashing in with the Fire Devil and the Firestorm. And things are starting to look really grim for Fnatic. They are about to lose a wall again. I suppose they might be able to save that keep, but it's not going to be easy. They try to go for it. And here comes Lunara. She's staying way back, and so does Quacknix. They don't want to get jumped by the Punisher again. That keep is falling rather fast, though. Breeze is spreading the love with the chain bombs. Yeah, Shrimpy is being hit by that now, too. But the Punisher is dead, and they can jump in again. And, of course, the Greater Spell Shield is going to help Shrimpy quite a bit with his Lunara here. But they can't chase anybody down. They are still a level behind. That hasn't changed. Since the early game, we had that constant lead in experience for TCM. And with so many structures still on the map of TCM, there's of course experience that you can get if you finally gain some momentum. But for that to happen, Fnatic needs kills. And they can't really take anybody down. They have 1 kill in the entire game. We've seen mostly fights for objectives during the entire series here. And again, Shrimpy at the top lane together with Smexy. They have the vision thanks to the Oracle. Remabola is there, 1 tower down. They're starting to close that gap a little bit. But the rotation is happening, and we're seeing especially Sonya over here just waiting, lying in wait and going for Nika. Nika in the back, here comes Breeze, they really want him, but always Bashik. Bashik every time with his Mighty Gust just blowing them away, and they can't re-engage here. So a very solid move again from Bashik. His false play in this game so far, very, very solid. And we do not see these mosh pits. We need a good mosh pit. Here comes again the potential kill, maybe against Leoric this time. A Thero down on Sonya. Leoric dies too. It's a 4 versus 4 at least, but the camp is taken. Very frustrating situation for Fnatic, but of course great for TCM. The Polish team doing very well here. TCM starting to move in again. They lost Leoric, so they still have 1 tank that they can rely upon. But a lot of the pressure play that we see from Fnatic is gone, thanks to Sonya dying here. And that was kill number 5 against Fnatic. So once again, another camp being taken. And TCM is doing an exceptional job with just going from camp to camp. They have a lot of map control, and they don't give it up. They make sure that they are always in control of the map right now, and it's working wonders for them. They are farther ahead. They will hit that level 20, and once that's the case, then we're going to see them, of course, with even more pressure against Fnatic, and that should also eliminate the first keep of the match. Sonya is back, so is Leoric. There is a Shrine active up at the top, so they could go for that. Another camp taken, and now they can just like move S5 to the top, or go to the bottom, threaten keep, and force Fnatic back. Fnatic could leave 1 hero at the top lane then, and try to get a slight lead in minions, so that everybody else moves around, and it looks very much like that's what's happening. Now they actually move back as 5. They move back as 5, nobody at the top, so now we're having TCM taking a few structures down and simply retreating. They don't have to fight here, don't have to go for it. They know that there were already TPs, so yep, but Quacknix might try and jump in. Here comes the rotation from the side. Breeze, can he land that mosh pit? They want the mosh pit. Here comes Nika again. Breeze is waiting. So is Ethereal, but Holo already zoning. Great positioning from Holo. Moving in, Nika immediately going a little bit more down to the bottom of the map and making sure that there's just no way that he runs straight into Sonya. Incredibly important for them. Falstad is by now on 34 extra damage on Season Marksman. So his Season Marksman stacks really starting to come through for him. When we're looking at Khaldor, we have him currently at 40 stacks for his Mana Addict. That's mana bonus of 600. 615 by now on 41. And up at the top lane, we're seeing again the Arcane Punisher about to be claimed. And level 20 is ready. Level 20 with Lord of Terror, with Rewind, with Hardened Shield, Bolt of the Storm, Fawcett most likely going to go for the Epic Mount, and an attempt to go for experience and also threaten keep. And now we are having 3 heroes moving back, but that's of course the whole idea here. Fnatic realized that the opponent just it was from TCM was a smart move. I mean, what did TCM do? They moved to the bot lane, they delayed everything, they made sure that they got experience and that they forced Fnatic back from the shrine, and though they got level 20. They started to move to the top, they will get another Punisher, and Fnatic did the only thing that they could do. They started to move to the bot lane to get experience themselves by taking a few of the structures down, but with a level 20 advantage, there's no reason for TCM to move down with 5 heroes. Instead, they left Leoric up at the top, and now they are going to get that Punisher. And most likely that will result in Fnatic losing the first keep of the game. That being said though, Fnatic is getting closer and closer to level 20, but they can't lose Lunara right now. Schwimpy getting engaged here. Oh, that's a disaster. Oh my god. Also Mighty Gust now. Ethereal is going to get mini-stun. They can maybe lock them down. Well, Breeze is attempt immediately the Apocalypse as the counter. Breeze didn't get anything out of this one. Nice Entomb here once again. Smexy is also low. Fnatic is getting obliterated here. That Punisher is going to go through the keep like a hot knife through butter, and then they might also go straight for the core here. This is looking really bad. With Lunara dying, it changed everything. With her surviving, if they could have just moved back a little bit sooner, they might have survived as 5 and then defended against it, but now they're not only losing keep, they're going to lose way more than that. They are most likely going to lose this game right now. Fnatic in trouble against this new TCM lineup. Looks like we are going to see a third game. The Punisher going in again. Tacita attack. The core is dropping hit points. Good heal for Leo, and that's of course going to be it. Level 20. These talents are just too strong for Fnatic to contest, and this is game as TCM ties the series and forces game number 3 here at the round of 8 of the End of the Storm Europe winner bracket. Game number 2 has been ended in favor of TCM, so now in the third game, we're seeing Fnatic apparently with a respect ban on their own. They're currently looking at the ban on Diablo here. That would be a fun one. Once again, of course, Li Ming has so far not been played today. She is allowed. Stitch is the only hero that is currently banned because of the bug that still exists with this hook where in custom games it can cause lag. But Li Ming most likely going to be banned out by TCM now as well. Unless, of course, they feel comfortable on Sky Temple that they can play around her. Fnatic, they banned out Diablo. Oh! They're trolling. Alright, for a second I really thought that they would ban out Greymane, but yeah, it's looking more and more like it's going to be Li Ming again. They're not going to attack the time pool here, but yeah. Toying around with our feelings a little bit, yeah. The hope dies last, but it dies after all. Li Ming banned out once again. I think we've seen her twice now in the European scene, but no more than that. So, yeah, currently we have Rega as the first pick, no big surprise there. And TCM, they react with Thrall, which has actually served them quite well in the last few games. Keep in mind, heroes that are usually early contested too are heroes like Zagara, but more and more we're seeing Greymane take over there too. Warsmith, thank you very much for the support, bro. Cheers for that. And apparently they can't really think about which hero to take.
Thank you for telling noobs to bait the Punisher. Just hope that one day they will be on my team.
Well, yeah, the Punisher can be quite a pain on Infernal Shrines if you don't make them jump into behind the gate. So instead of like that Greymane that they were thinking about, they go for Thrall, and they could still pick Greymane away. The problem with Greymane is just simply that Fnatic has very solid Greymane players, Quacknix of course in particular, and he has been picking that hero every single chance that he got. So TCM is always thinking about like picking him, but it feels really like they are not too comfortable playing with him as is. In the last game they were already like locking him in a couple of times, but never really confirmed it. Right now they switch around, and they actually do it now. So Zagara would have been a super good pick here too, of course, on Sky Temple. We've been talking a lot about her today. We've seen her in action, but Greymane picked away from Fnatic. So instead of like getting a ban against Greymane, they decide to pick him away. So Quacknix will have to play another hero. That could lead us again into Sonya. Oftentimes when he is not on Greymane, we see him as a Sonya player of the team. Fnatic, their ETC play didn't really do too much. Like one of the big deals in the last game was also that ETC never really got anything done. Like, no big mosh pit or anything. That Apocalypse was always a great counterpart that we had there, and that was a big threat to just ETC in general. So right now, we're currently seeing Muradin picked instead, and I actually like that choice. Muradin is just like much beefier at the front line. You can play him as a solo tank as well. Zagara as the follow-up. I mean, we have seen her actually like pushed back in the draft as a priority a little bit, but she is still incredibly powerful. The vision alone that she can give your team is incredibly cool. Tacita is a potential hero to take for both of these teams still. I actually assume that Tacita is going to be banned out here by one of those teams. With Zagara and Muradin, feels like TCM is going to get rid of Jaina, as they already like look at, because it's the burst damage. If they ban out Kel'Thas, that basically says that they want to pick Jaina. So if they don't ban her out, then they're going to take her. There's no way that TCM is going to let Fnatic get away with Jaina. So they decide on a ban here. They want to take that Kel'Thas again. No Tacita ban. Tacita would be great for both teams now. Rega Tacita would allow Fnatic to go into any kind of like frontliner, no matter who they want to play. They could play that with a Sonya. We have Zagara taken. Again, a little bit of trolling on TCM. ETC, by the way, banned out now against them. And let's see what TCM is going to get. Tacita, as I said, is going to be picked by one of them. Kel'Thas most likely by TCM after they were thinking about banning him as well. Frontline, I mean, Johanna is still around there, which they could take. They played with Leoric. They have to make like the choice if they want to go for like a double warrior frontline plus Thrall, or just like one frontliner and Thrall then. But we had a lot of bans already, like with ETC and Diablo being banned. But again, Johanna, one of the favorite heroes of Navi, for example, these days, could be taken here. There's a couple of options. I mean, ETC is banned out, but Johanna, it would be my preferred choice, and they seem to go for her. Just really strong with that. Cheers, Bernie. Perfect time as well. Thanks for that, bro. As we're waiting for that Johanna lockdown.
Hey Khaldor, what do you think about the poke meta? Why is no one playing as Modern? Baby Raj PJ Salt Failfish.
She even knows the emoticons. Look at that. Wow, text-to-speech is solid. Asmonad was actually banned out once today, so I would really like that. TCM with a Leoric plus Thrall, really? I like that Johanna a lot more in that sense. Like, Johanna is really solid right now. There's a reason why Navi is always going for her. Leoric is good too, but solo frontliner plus Thrall as Leoric. What is this, NA? Ah, there comes that Johanna again. They're really running down that time pool. Okay, Johanna. As I said, I prefer Johanna in that setup way more than I do with Leoric. Not saying Leoric is bad or anything, but like, who are you going to trap with that Entomb? I guess if you get Zagara, that would be great, but still, like, I like that. So we have Fnatic now. Falset is still like super awesome here. Like, having that damage would be great. Tacita was picked away. They would have probably tried to go for him if he was still available. But as is, they can play with the solo Muradin at the front line if they want to. They can, for example, go for level 13 for the shield talent if they want. Fnatic teasing with that Murky. Lightning shield Murky confirmed. We have actually seen Team Liquid play with the Murky a couple of weeks back, like 2 or 3 weeks back, which did not really work out too well for them. So Murky can be, and they go for it. We see a Murky. Boys and girls, it is Murky time. Oh my god. Murky is in the house. Fnatic is playing him. Murky with Lightning Shield is going to be a pain. It's going to be a pain right now, and this is going to be quite the move. I did not expect that. In the 3rd game of the series, and now TCM, they need a support, and let's see how that's going to work out for them. Support, like the support, they need another support here against this, and they need, especially what they need is, of course, a cleanse. So against Murky, if he goes for Octograb, you need to have that cleanse, and Charism is already the support that they go for. They don't want to play against Murky with a solo Tacita. So right now, instead, it's Charism as an addition to that. Great damage still with Greymane from the back, Tacita with a Storm, Throw there too, but boys, like that Murky, wow. We're seeing Murky power. So guys, this is going to be pretty cool. Let's check that out. Fnatic in Game 3, balls to the walls with the Murky play. And let's see how that's going to work out for them. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Sky Temple, map number 3. It's not only time for the 3rd map. It's not only time for Sky Temple. It's time for the Murloc. Fnatic going up against TCM now into the left side of the map. We have Fnatic with Breeze on Muradin. We see Quacknix on Falstad, Smexy on Rega, and Aethero Angel is playing the one and only Murky. We have Shrimpy playing Zagara, and to the right side of the map, of course, TCM with the Polish boys, with Leo on Karazim, Holo on Thrall, Bashik on Greymane, picking it away from Quacknix. We have Nika on Tassadar and Remaballer on Johanna. And the Murloc is in play, and this is going to be quite a bit of fun. So already on level 1, we are seeing block taken by Murky as the first talent. We are having also Fostered again with the auto attack build. Boomerang has been buffed a little bit, but so far we haven't really seen Caster. Oh wow, that is actually looking kind of funny. That mount together with Murky is not looking too shabby. That is interesting. So, yeah, we have actually like Forster going for the auto attack. Boomerang, as I said, was buffed, but so far we haven't really seen too much of Caster. Forster, instead it's still the auto attacks. Thrall apparently having a couple of issues over here. Gives us a chance to talk a bit about the talent. We have also, by the way, a commitment in the middle of the map, so maybe even a roam happening from the mid lane. With talents now, Transcendence has been taken. We are also seeing now the perfect aim once again. We have Night takes Pawn, Conjurer's Pursuit, and here the Electric Charge now. Electric Charge for Murky that can go into the backline is of course going to be quite a little bit of fun. I'm really curious to see how that's going to work out for them. Murky with a survival build and that trust trying to bring that lightning shield to really to just like into play. That would be really interesting. So I'm excited for this one, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Fnatic is really committing to this in the 3rd game of a series, so that is extremely awesome. Nika is at the bot lane here currently, and he knows that something is on. Riding his Fellhound mount right now, and he's just like sitting there and saying like, alright, where is that little bugger? Where is that little slime beast? And Murky already making his way in, slithering in on that Lunar Festival mount, and starting, of course, with a pufferfish. But Nika is taking that down with a couple of auto attacks. So yeah, we're going to have a look at Murky a little bit later in the game, of course, then again as well. Breeze already up at the top. The temples are now activated, and it's the first 2 temples in the game. At the beginning of the game, it's like always the same, of course, as well. Bot lane is going to be activated next with a single tangible event, which is also going to be important. Quacknix and Breeze already in position. Here comes that quick stun against Johanna, but she gets away with no problem whatsoever. So for now, pretty standard builds actually, not a lot of adjustments that we are seeing in talents. There's nothing like too crazy happening. It should be a trade in shrines, but actually we are seeing TCM not committing to the top yet. They are instead moving into the middle and trying to take this one over as Fnatic is taking the first few shots. Leo is still there. Double support build, of course, or double support lineup that we have for TCM, running this with Tassadar and Karazim. Murky at the bot lane was pretty busy getting a bit of extra experience, but is now on the way into the middle and is starting to make his way over here with another pufferfish. Thero is in there, and to the top lane we now have Rhaegar taking the shots on the top temple. So already the first one starting to move in up at the top. Remaballer is making some vision happening for this team. Bashik is also there. Murky retreated down to the bot lane, so they try to outsoak. They don't really try to go for the fight yet. Instead they are getting a few shots up at the top. They will have to deal with Holo and also Remaballer that are starting to move in. Decent vision from Zagara at the top lane right now. So with Zagara and Murky, they actually have a lot of pressure that they have here. So there's a lot of pushing power that the team has currently locked down. And it's still like concentrates between these 2 temples. So now we have a couple of shots fired in the mid lane here. Once again, level 4 talents. Murky going immediately here for the slime with a bigger slime radius right now. Stormcaller has been taken, the Envenomed Spines as well. Again, we are seeing mercenaries grabbed by the teams. In particular, of course, it's Fnatic right now that does that. But we are seeing the same with Bashik on his Greymane, trying to take down those 2 as well. So the mercenaries are being claimed, trying to push the bot lane. Murky just roaming from lane to lane, and Thero not really trying to push too hard just yet. We have also the cocktail build for Greymane. An interesting choice is going to be the level 13 talent. As I said, it's the talent where we see the most adjustments according to personal preference. And we have seen so far on the prowl from Quacknix every time. But if you, for example, look at Norok and his play for My Insanity, he usually goes for the Unfettered Assault right now, a talent that we've also seen from Chris earlier on today from Team Liquid. But level 13 could also reveal something else here for Bashik, who's currently playing Greymane for the team in red. To the top lane, Murky is doing his thing, starting to just like push in the lanes here. We're seeing Thrall trying to deal with him right now. Thrall, by the way, not with a stacking talent, so nobody can really capitalize on Murky deaths just yet. Not even going for a seasoned marksman here, which we still occasionally see by Thrall players, especially Snow, who formerly played for the Sandwich Monkeys, who are now disbanded. We will still play out the tournament, by the way, but they will disband after the tournament is over. They already announced that, and BKB is moving over to the Abyss Pro as his next team. Back to the roots, so to say. Slime advantage after the bigger slime, now going for the slime advantage here as well. So the extra damage on the basic attacks. Zagara also with a bit of a bigger focus on damage instead of like just offering utility with the endless creep, but instead it's battle momentum so that she can spam out her abilities more. Not only does it increase her siege power, but also the damage against heroes thanks to the Muralisk later once that she reaches the level 13 talent. And of course it's incredibly powerful when you have also then on level 16 the additional Hydra that you can dish out. Again, complete cocktail build has been taken. Perfect overflow, perfect aim, drought overflow, and the elixir on level 7. We're having Johanna as well with the cooldown reduction here. I've seen even a couple of like builds these days that go away from Night Take Spawn every now and then. It's still pretty rare. Night Take Spawn is just a super powerful talent if you want to have wave clear. But sometimes Johanna players, especially as a second tank, start to go away from it a little bit. And go for sometimes even more survivability. So still no level 7 talent taken. Apparently Charism is going to wait for Murky to pick his level 10 so that he knows if he needs the if he needs his cleanse or if he doesn't. Octograb would result in cleanse, and March of the Murlocs would of course result in the extra heal talent there. So it's actually like pretty cool to see that again. Like that's one of the things where you can really see that players are waiting what the opponent chooses. Like there's a lot of things that just like happen. We sometimes even have delays taken on particular talents. For example, we've seen in the past heroes that are affected by something like this, delaying their level 10 to force the opponent's healer to make a decision before they know what's going to be picked there. So Murky has to make that choice, and now there's level 10, and what is Aethero going to use? He goes straight into the Octograb, and now we're going to see cleanse taken any moment by Charism. As soon as he realizes what has been picked here, it's going to be a cleanse for him, which will of course reduce his healing power. There it is, cleanse has been grabbed. And in case of the March of the Murlocs, he would have gone straight into the heal instead. So it diminishes his healing power. He goes into the 7-sided strike also to take down Muradin, who's currently the sole frontliner. But we have still Tacita with them. So having now on level 7 also Carla's Embrace, that really helps, of course, to make up for that heal that Charism now lost. Level 10 abilities for both of the teams, and besides that, pretty normal talent so far taken. Tacita actually waiting with the Force Wall, but still locking the talent down. Slight lead for Fnatic already in experience. Murky now in the middle of the map, still doing his thing. Mostly split from the team, actually. Never really moving in with them, but Octograb is going to change that a bit. There's very little like on-target damage that Murky currently can count on from the rest of the team. It's mostly really Falstad with the auto attacks that is going to try hard then later on in the game. And currently, like talking about Falstad, we actually have him on 10 Season Marksman stacks at this point. Murky is starting to push the top quite heavily, and Aethero is being a nuisance already. I mean, like, that fort is being targeted, and Thrall is forced back right now to try and deal with him. So Murky is just doing what Murky does. He's being annoying, like as annoying as humanly possible. Oh, big lag spike here actually, like on the server right now, but okay, we're back. So that was scary for a second. Murky already going straight for Leo here, but the Murloc is just simply moving away, not even caring too much. At the bottom of the map, Quacknick, Shrimpy, and Breeze are also pressuring. You can really tell that they are just like the entire time playing around the opponent. They are pushing lanes, they're getting ahead in experience, they have an entire level already, and it's like the pressure that Zagara can execute against structures and Murky himself. And every single time Murky is pushing these lanes down, gets the siege damage in, there has to be a reaction from TCM, and they have to move a hero back. If they don't, they lose structures. Losing structures on this map is a disaster, so they have to move someone to the top. And there's no real team fights. Fnatic just decided to not really team fight against the opponent. They're level 13 now with a giant killer. Murky is going into the bubble machine right now with a cooldown reduction on the safety bubble, which makes his life, of course, much, much easier. Already the tidal wave's chosen, and the mural is here as well. So a pretty incredible move, and that also explains the battle momentum on Zagara. Not for the hero damage. Siege damage is really what they want to go for. They want to burst these structures down, play around the opponent, force them into just like moving through the map. It opens up also the temples for them. And you can really see the siege damage here already. Murky is at 87,000. He's even beating Greymane, who's usually taking a huge lead in these games. So incredible play here, trying to... Oh, the burst against Falstad. Well played here. Good job by TCM. Now with that being said, we have still Murky doing his thing. And I mean, it basically shows the entire strategy. This was the first kill, by the way, for TCM. Just saying. First kill for them. They try to go for boss now. Murky is starting to move in now too with the rest of the team. It is the Unfettered Assault that we're taking here. Not the talent that Quacknick prefers. He's going more Nurok and Chris style. Boss is going to be taken. So far it looks at least like they can go for it. Breeze, yeah, he's retreating. He's not getting drunk to try. Still a level lead Murky is down for the first time in the game. First Murky death. It's the first Murky death that we have now. But Murky already has his egg up at the top, and that looked very much like he even wanted to die. So he's going to start pushing this once again. Super cool to see different strategies here. It's a complete like push build, play around your opponent, don't take too many team fights, only fight when you have an advantage. If you take a pick on the map, they try to get ahead in experience, and Murky is just being a pain as now the boss is defended against. And Murky is once again in the middle of the map, securing experience for his team, making sure that they are staying ahead in EXP. Yep, there we have it again, just slime the entire time. Camps are now taken, and of course for TCM that also causes a bit of a problem. Like, they have to make sure that they just now take the map. They have to take the objectives, they have to like move S5, move someone back if they realize that Murky's going for structures. Pushing the lanes back is not going to be the problem. It's really just the structure attacks that are the big deal. And with them already being so far behind in experience, this is going to become a huge problem later on. Rema Baller moves in, goes up against Murky here. The wave is starting to move in now too. First tower is down, Murky is still there. Bashik also helping out now. And Murky is going to fall here. Yeah, Murky's going to die, but that opens up time again at the bot lane. This is exactly what we've been talking about. Schwimpy on his cigar on one end of the map and Murky on the other. And now Falstad flies in. They're trying to get maybe a kill against Holo. The mobility on the map to go for these moves. And Holo uses Sundering, but Murky is there and takes him down. And guess who's at the bot lane still? It's Zagara. Falstad files as well, though it's an even trade, but Zagara took down the fort at the bot lane. Zagara took the fort down, and there's level 16 right now. Really smart play from Fnatic. It's incredibly difficult to pull something like this off properly. If you get in the late game just caught once and you lose 2 or 3 heroes, then you are down for like a minute and you won't be able to do anything while your opponent is just completely ripping you a new one. So at this point, Fnatic needs to make sure that they don't make any major mistakes. We have the rejuvenating bubble right now, so we're seeing Bubble Machine, rejuvenating bubble, we're having Rising Storm, great talent right now to take for Murky as well, of course, if it comes to team fights. There's a temple down at the bot lane, but Fnatic is at the top. They're trying to pressure the top keep first, since they already took the first tower down over here, and that's what they currently do. Thrall, on the other hand, is starting to move to the bottom. Keep that level 16 talent in mind. We have a lead in this particular case for Fnatic, and oh, they go for the move. Falstad flies in. They try to go for Nika. Nika is being attacked. Here comes Breeze for the stun. Prescient's taken, and the slam with the hammer into the face of Tassadar. Nice kill there. Good kill. 16 versus 16 now. Circle of Life. Concentrated Blast. Tempest Fury. Dimensional Warp. Johanna could go into the imposing presence here if she wanted to against Falstad. No, goes instead for Holy Renewal. Yeah, and once again at the bot lane, great fight here that they can take 5 versus 4. Breeze already going straight for the stone form, needs to jump out as Karazim uses his ult, but the kill against Murky. Gonna be back sooner, but up at the top lane, so it's a 4 versus 4 down here. Schwimpy healed with the ancestral healing, but suddenly TCM is starting to lose hit points, and a lot of those on a lot of heroes. Bashik low, Holo trying to move away, Sundering is in cooldown, can't help him here, and Thrall is eliminated, and that's another temple, of course, in the hands of Fnatic. 23 extra stacks on Fnatic's. Falstad up at the top lane, Murky pushing the lane back. Bot lane is now being pressured to nearly a 2-level lead. Make that 1.5 maybe. 16 is the talent currently on the side. And once again, the numbers here. Look at Murky's siege damage. 120,000 already. Siege damage on Zagara, 60,000. Johanna is currently at 71 and Murky is just basically rushing around. They chase him with 4 heroes. They're so annoyed right now. They go for Murky. They get the kill, but it doesn't really help them for long. The egg up here at the top is going to spit Murky out once again within a moment, and he's slithering his way up to the right side of the map once more. Of course, at this point, the commitments of Fnatic are going to be bigger and bigger. It's really easy to take the forts down of your opponent if you're trying to play a push strategy like this. Because the forts are in the middle of the map, roughly, doesn't really matter too much, you don't have to really move in. But if Murky, for example, pushes the top lane right now, and then we have Zagara all the way down here, the rotation from those lanes is much, much quicker. And so, in the later stage of the game, you have to be much more careful how you rotate on the map, because your opponent can react much faster to what you are doing if you're going for keeps than if you're going for forts. So they have to really make sure that they really have the opening and the time down cold. If they make one mistake right now, as I said before, they're going to lose 2 or 3 heroes, and then all of a sudden they're going to be down for like a minute. Boss is going to be taken again. Temples could appear on the map. So you have to be super careful how you play this. What Fnatic can do right now, though, is wait for shrines and play around the shrines. They have the lead in experience, and they try to translate that into extra talents. So they're playing a safe game right now, trying to just like go for the mercenaries. Once again, Murky already there, has the safety bubble, as we already mentioned a couple of times. And the boss could be attacked again. We have even talents. Temple's active now as well at the top. Aethero is just waiting around. He knows that it's going to be really difficult for the opponents to kill him at this point. At least not without sacrificing anything. Breeze already hopping away. Hop, little dwarf. Hop, hop, hop. Holo not willing to really use Sundering here, and why would he? But Holo actually eating a lot of damage, and in comes Murky. And Murky wants Thrall. He really wants him. Goes straight for the Octograb against not Thrall. They kill him, and they kill also now Karazim. Karazim taken. He's the one with, of course, the with a cleanse, and though he is the one who gets Octograb. You can't cleanse yourself, and therefore no chance to pre-cleanse himself before the Octograb hits. So they take down 3, and they start to fly to the top. Fnatic with some great plays here. They have the rewind now taken on Rhaegar's side, rewind on Murky, and they just go for it. A smart play from Fnatic, a great play. They waited with this strategy for the 3rd map, and it is looking incredibly good. Already Murky thinking about a new egg position. They go with 3 heroes down, great for the core. They take down Greymane. What a play. Here comes the Fury of the Storm, all the damage that they can muster, and they win the series and advance to face Team Liquid. Incredible play by Fnatic here. Very, very smart what they did, and they are able to win it on Sky Temple and therefore win the series with a 2-1 against TCM to advance to the semifinals of the winner bracket. Congratulations.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is GG and the end of another series here on Khaldor TV with Heroes of the Storm. So once again, we have another video finished, and I hope that you enjoyed the commentary and that you liked the game, of course, as well. It was a pleasure casting the match for you. And if you guys really enjoyed it, then make sure that you give that video a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, feel free to do that too. If you have friends that are interested in Heroes of the Sports esports scene, then definitely recommend the channel to them, or just show them the video if they want to see like a bit how the pros are drafting here, especially of course when it comes to the North American scene, European scene. And I mean, these days we even have a couple of Chinese games on the channel here, so I hope that you enjoy that as well. That being said, thank you very much for watching again. I'm going to see you guys next time with more Heroes of the Storm content here on the channel. Have a great day and enjoy your week, and see you soon. Bye bye.